Welcome to the season 2 finale of The Truth is Viral. Now, unlike most shows, I am not going to take a break between season 2 and season 3. I just wanted to end season 2 by giving you an update on my health, the investigation into my daughter's death, and the explosion that happened up here in northern Michigan on the 6th of June. Because that is still a developing story and something that you're going to want to stick around and watch. You know, I think that God probably led me here to live in northern Michigan, here in Alpena, specifically for this reason, to cover this story. Because it's a biggie, folks. We've got this mysterious explosion. We've got radiation spikes, reports of a dogfight between a UFO and U.S. fighter aircraft. And this is something that's not a report. This is something that I'm going to show you. Aircraft disappearing from radar on June 6th, 2012, a few hours after that mysterious explosion. Now, we've also got video evidence of UFOs in the skies over Alpena, more specifically in the sky right above the Alpena Regional Combat Training Center. By the way, that is going to be the home of a new drone facility, part of the 30,000 drone fleet that the government wants to put in the skies. It's a multi-million-dollar facility. They're going to be making them. They're going to be doing research and development. They're going to be training pilots, and presumably they'll be flying missions out of there. So I'm going to tell you all about this, and at the same time, I'm going to cook up an awesome mess of brats. So what do you say we get this party started?
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You play Russian roulette this way.
Deep down in places you don't talk about at parties, you want me on that wall. You need me on that wall.
Keep this frequency clear.
And now it's conspiracy. See, they've made that something that should not be even entertained for a minute. That powerful people might get together and have a plan. Doesn't happen. You're a kook. You're a conspiracy buff.
You're watching The Truth is Viral, the only news program on the internet trusted to deliver the truth since 2008. And now, here's your host, the devastatingly handsome Bobby Powell.
Okay, so yeah, it's brat night, and it's also the night when I will tell you everything I know about what's going on, give you an update on the situation, so to speak. But let's focus on these brats for a moment, shall we? The key are the condiments, the onion, and the peppers that you put on it. Yeah, obviously we've got a sweet onion, yellow onion, and we'll add some green peppers and red peppers into the mix. Okay, so your preferred cooking medium, at least mine is at the moment, is butter. I'm sure my cardiologist has nothing to say about that. But once you get your onions and green peppers and red peppers all cut up, you just put them in there and you saute those bad boys until they're nice and limp. So, yes sir, I never failed to be amazed at people. Over the last week, I've seen the best and the absolute worst. And today was actually a good day. Spoke with a member of the local law enforcement community about various issues. And once again, I find a good man that I'm pretty sure I can count on to watch my back. And you know, I think that's probably true of most sheriff's departments around the country. So while there's still time left, if you've got a teenager, you know, I would suggest 2 organizations. You know, put them in Boy Scouts and put them in the local sheriff's explorer program, because they're going to be teaching them skills that I guarantee you we're going to need. And if you haven't had the time or haven't had the knowledge to teach your children the skills that they're going to need to survive, well, then you need to turn them over to the Sheriff's Department and the Boy Scouts and let them do the job, because there's not much time left. I'm going to get the butter all around the onions and the peppers. Make sure they're thoroughly coated so they don't burn. And it'll take about 20 minutes for this to cook down. Okay, so on this episode of The Truth is Viral, while I get these brats going, I'm going to bring you up to speed on the explosion that happened here in Northeastern Michigan, and bring you up to speed on what's happening with my health, and I'll bring you up to speed on what's happening with my daughter. But first, I need to tell you guys something. Okay, you already know that I was a mainstream journalist back during the Gulf War, the first Gulf War. Now, as Paul Harvey would say, here comes the rest of the story. Okay, after the Gulf War ended, I thought I had it made. I envisioned myself some hotshot reporter, and I suppose maybe to a degree I was, because here I was, interviewing governors, the highest military leaders that the nation has to offer, and I thought I was really going somewhere. Well, after the Gulf War ended, Casey Kasem bought KVOR, started beaming in CNN, got rid of all but one of the local journalists, so guess who's out of a job? Now, there was a glut of reporters in Colorado Springs at the end of the Gulf War, and I didn't find a job right away. So my wife was working at MCI selling phone service. She was one of those people that call you up while you're eating dinner or doing something else and try to sell you phone service. Well, having to eat like most normal people, I went and took a job at MCI. So I used my golden voice to sell you phone products that you didn't need. And was working there for a while, waiting for another spot in radio to open up, and then one day they were doing some remodeling in MCI in the offices, and some true moron kicked over a bucket of toluene diisocyanate. That's a like paint thinner, a solvent of some type for use in bathrooms. So anyway, toluene diisocyanate is a neurotoxin that's toxic at like 0.02 parts per million, something like that. And 38 people, including myself, went to the hospital that day. And when I woke up, crap and blood, not knowing who I was, where I was, or what I was doing there, my career as a journalist was over, because I couldn't read, I couldn't write. When I would stand up off the couch, I would forget why I had done it. Everybody has walked into a room and forgotten why they do it, right? Well, that was me every time I turned around. So needless to say, the next few years were a bit of a struggle. But, you know, the brain is a remarkable organ. When one part of it's damaged, it literally rewires itself so that other parts take over, right? And that's basically what happened. You know, the doctors would give me seizure medication for the seizures that accompanied the damage, but as far as retraining myself how to read and write, that was all on me. Well, I started off with newspaper comics, right? I could kind of understand those pretty pictures, and I was graduated to magazines in the doctor's offices. Believe me, there were plenty of those. And it's over the last 17 years. I can read again. I can speak without stuttering every sentence. I've still got a little aphasia going on there, but nothing that I can't handle. It's not too distracting, I hope. Well, you know, part of continuing to train my brain and make myself better was going back to college. There's not much room in broadcasting for a stuttering reporter. So, you know, I went back to college, and I went to nursing school because, well, I'd been in a medical environment for several years now, and, you know, I figured, you know, that would be a great way to serve my fellow man, to be a nurse. And that's what I've always been about, is helping the people around me, because, you know, we're all brothers and sisters, you know. But anyway, I got through nursing school with a 4.0, and I said to myself, hey, if I can do this, I can be a doctor. I can be a stuttering doctor, but a doctor nevertheless. I figured that would be a decent career to have. Well, I went to University of North Carolina at Asheville to make that happen. And I was 6 months into their pre-med program when I fell off my roof and broke my back. I was trying to bring shingles down the ladder the wrong way. The ladder gave way. Boom. I'm done for. 3 broken vertebrae. I'm in that doggone wheelchair for the next 3 years. So, like, what was I, Attila the Hun in a previous life? What have I ever done that was so bad that, you know, every time I get right to where I'm going, some obstacle, you know, is thrown in my path? Well, they say God moves in mysterious ways. Maybe this was his plan to get me where I am right here, right now, and to have me doing exactly what I'm doing. You know, who knows? But regardless, that's the way it has worked out. So, had 8 operations on my spine to get me to walking again. I'm good for about 4 or 5 hours a day. Most often I need to use my cane, but I'm trying to get myself away from that. Early on, back in the late 90s, early 2000s, they had me on so much medication, it was insane. I mean, literally, my medication bill was like $3,500 a month, and if it wasn't for Medicare and Medicaid, I'd be dead right now. And you know, that's still the case, and that's actually why I can't make any money off of this show, because, you know, if I do, well, then I'll lose my, I don't care about the pittance that I get from Social Security disability. It's the medical benefits I can't live without, and I mean literally I can't live without them. So, you know, every dime that is generated by ad revenue from this show or donations that are sent in goes into the show. I'm going to have receipts that, you know, I can show to the IRS or Social Security or whoever, you know, that I didn't make any money. This literally is something that I'm doing in my spare time, you know, when I can. There's not an employer in the world that would hire me, not only because, well, number one, I won't spout their line. You know, there's enough lying, and there's a time for that's come to an end. But I'm uninsurable, you know, due to my medical history. There's no sane employer in the world that would hire me. So, you know, that's where it stands, basically. I've had, you know, a few health problems, and here I am now. But, you know, please don't feel sorry for me. Don't anybody feel sorry for me, because I've had a good life. I've been married to the love of my life for 21 years 2 weeks ago. And we've had, you know, between us 5 kids and 3 grandkids, and they are the light of my life too. So, you know, I've had a good run. Now, what happened to me, here's the update on my health that I promised you. I was walking in Walmart. Yeah, I know, evil Walmart, feed the Chinese, but it's basically the only game in town when you need what we needed to get. But anyway, I started feeling this pain in my shoulder and down my arm. And, you know, I've been in nursing school, and I've watched television. I've seen the ads on TV. That is an early warning sign of a heart attack. And, you know, I took the groceries home real quick and got to the hospital. And that's when the pain really started. And they admitted me for observation and hooked me up with the monitors and all that. And they did their x-rays and ultrasounds, MRIs. They even scanned me with a herd of wild cats. That's a CAT scan joke. And as it turns out, the source of the pain is spurs on my spine up on these thoracic vertebrae up in here. But as luck would have it, due to all the tests that they ran, I do need to have my plumbing scooped out. So looks like it's operation number 9 for the spine, and a trip to one of the larger hospitals to have cardiac catheterization and angioplasty or a stent.
Smack runner, your game is through. Smack runner, I'm talking to you.